afternoon. I would like to call to order the January 7th, 2014 regular scheduled meeting of the Davie County Board of Education. First order of business is to adopt the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? I have a motion from Mr. Drexler. Do I have a second? Have a second by Ms. Owens. All in favor? 6-0. At this time, we'll move on to, I'll ask for a motion to go into closed session. The board will go into closed session to preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 to discuss personnel matters protected by state law and also to preserve the attorney-client privilege.
And to discuss that certain lawsuit in caption, Joshua Howell through his guardian ad litem versus the Davie County Board of Education and others.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'll write it out.
We have a motion by Ms. Owens. Do we have a second? We have a second by Mr. Drexler. All in favor? 6-0. We're now in closed session. Welcome to the January 7th, 2014 regular scheduled meeting of the Davie County Board of Education. We are coming back in from closed session. At this time, the next item on our agenda will be the invocation. If you would, all please bow with me. As we gather tonight, I express thanks for this day and all of its blessings. I ask this board to be mindful of the business we are about to undertake. We are thankful for everyone in attendance. Further, we are thankful for the opportunity to govern and the freedoms we enjoy. We pause to remember the students, faculty members, and families in our system and community who are facing challenges. Our positive thoughts are with them. As always, we seek wisdom to make the best decisions for the students and citizens of Davie County. Amen. At this time, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by members of the 4-H Club.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight on this cold winter night. At this point, I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes of our regular scheduled meeting in December. Do I have a motion? Have a motion from Mr. Drexler. Do I have a second? Have a second by Ms. Horn. All in favor? 7-0. Moving on to our important dates calendar. Our next regular scheduled meeting will be January the 4th February the 4th, Tuesday, February the 4th, behind here, at 6 p.m. The Board of Commissioners meeting will be February the 3rd, Monday, February the 3rd at 6 p.m. The school board has a School Board Association Law Conference, February the 13th through the 14th. I don't know that anyone's attending that. On the 20th, the board will have lunch at the Early College, and then we'll have advisory council meetings with Shady Grove, Canatzer, and Ellis at Canatzer starting at 5:30. That's our February calendar. And at this point, I will turn it over to Dr. Hartness for a superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening to everyone. I hope everyone had a restful holiday break, and I want to wish everyone a happy new year for 2014. We're going to have a fantastic school year, and the staff and I look forward to working with all of you to make our school system even better this year. We started off our winter coming back from New Year's and holiday break with record-breaking wind chills that have been downright dangerous, and we closed school today. We announced this afternoon that we will be on a 2-hour delay tomorrow, and hopefully things will go well tomorrow morning with our mechanical equipment in the schools and our buses. So our staff's been out checking those things today, and we're hopeful things go well tomorrow morning. But I know a lot of people have questions about how we make those decisions, but we try to do those in the best interest of keeping our children safe. I want to share just a couple significant issues that we've been dealing with recently inside the school system and in the state. Just kind of share with you how we're planning and how we are currently dealing with those things. There was a lot of activity this past legislative session, and one of the things that the board will have to decide in the spring and before the end of this school year deals with a law that was in the budget bill that would require boards of education in North Carolina to offer 4-year contracts to 25% of your teachers, the teachers that you employ. There was very limited debate about this law. There was never any floor debate. I will tell you from my perspective, it's a really poorly written law, but it's one that's going to put you and the superintendent in a little difficult position later this year. How do you select only 25% of your teachers to offer a 4-year contract? So what we plan to do is next month in February, we're going to go over that and what does that selection process look like? What could it look like? Because each county and each school district has some options as to how you determine what that selection process is. So I'm going to lean on Jill quite a bit. She has presented a number of times to superintendents and administrators across the state about this topic, and we're going to walk you through in February how that selection process goes and what it might look like for us. We've had a number of meetings with staff and with some of our teachers to discuss this, so we'll hit that in February. If you remember several months ago, and Mr. Ridenauer sent me an article from a local newspaper this past week that deals with this in Rowan Salisbury and how they've dealt with it, but the whole Read to Achieve law that was part of this last legislative session. Dr. Cartner a couple months ago gave you an overview of what that looks like, and he gave you a flow chart of what that would look like for third graders. And unless something changes, and based on the cut scores that were established by the State Board of Education this past year, we're looking at offering summer school to about half of our third grade students if performance is similar to what it was last year. And while that seems like a lot, in some districts it's anywhere from 60 to 80%. We don't think that's what the legislature intended when they passed the law. We don't feel like that they intended to bring a mass of third graders to a summer school and to retain a lot of third graders. But that's the way it's kind of shaking out based on the cut scores that were established by the state board. So the Superintendent's Association, which I'm a part of, we have discussed this quite a bit. We approached the state superintendent and were concerned about the way the Department of Public Instruction was implementing the law and the way that they were developing passages that we felt like were way higher reading levels than third grade, and a portfolio process that was quite extensive for our teachers that would really put our third graders in testing mode at least one day a week throughout this spring, and we just didn't find that to be acceptable. So as an association, we called for a meeting with the state board chair and the state superintendent, and the week before Christmas I went down to Raleigh with 3 other superintendents, and we talked to the state board chair and the state superintendent about some possible alternative ways to implement this law, because we all agree that we want high standards for students. We want students reading on grade level, but sending half your third grade population to summer school just doesn't seem very practical, nor is there enough funding allocated by the legislature to support such an initiative. So there has been quite a few discussions since that meeting There are more discussions this week. The State Board of Education meets later this week, and there'll probably be some discussions there. But we're hoping that the department and the state board will drop back and really look at and take some suggestions from school districts and give us some type of local flexibility to use the assessment tools that we already have to make better decisions for our students than the way it has been proposed to be implemented. So there's not anything the board needs to do, but I want you as a board and our teaching staff to know that we don't like this law. We don't like the way the Department of Public Instruction proposes to implement this law, and we're being very active in advocating for what we feel like is best for our students and our classrooms and our teachers, and we're working hard on that. So we'll keep you posted, and hopefully that will be better for our third grade teachers and students coming up soon. You also heard Aaron give you an overview not long ago about Homebase and PowerSchool and SchoolNet, some new technology resources that the state rolled out starting back in the spring, or in the summer. The rollout started back in the spring, but it really came to us in June or so. That project has been filled with a lot of road bumps, speed bumps as well. The vendor, which is Pearson Corporation, a large, probably the largest school software and technology vendor in America, is responsible for that project. And we have had some frustrations from our staff in the responsiveness of the system when they've tried to use it in classrooms. We've had some concerns with data that's critical to the operation of our schools that typically is in our student information management system being accessible in a timely way, in an easy way. And we've taken a lead role in trying to find some solutions for that as well. The state has really looked to Aaron and our staff for suggestions on making that product and those products better. They've hosted regional meetings in this room with leaders from other school systems in our state. And again, the Superintendent's Association has stepped in, and we have shared with the Department of Public Instruction we're not pleased with the progress of the program or the way the contracts were negotiated for the product. And we're very pleased that a couple weeks before Christmas, the state superintendent pulled together her chief financial officer and several representatives from Pearson Worldwide. And I went down to Guilford County and met with them and 3 other superintendents, and we talked about how to get this project back on track for the state, not just for Davie County. And so we're taking a very active role in trying to provide some solutions and some feedback to Pearson and to the state on how we can get this back on track. And I will tell you, in the past 4 weeks, I've been very pleased with the responsiveness by both Pearson and the State Department with solutions that we had proposed. So we are taking a very active role in advocating for what we feel like is best, not just for Davie County, but for our state. So those are a couple things that we've been dealing with. I think we have a lot to look forward to in 2014. I really do. We had a great year this past year. I think we need to remain focused on being the national model that we have outlined in our strategic plan. And to do that, it's going to take all of us working together with our staff and our students, our parents, business leaders in this community, and our elected officials. So a lot to look forward to in 2014. One of the things that Noel and Jeff and I will probably talk to you in the next few months about is we hear a lot about business leaders talking about the importance of soft skills, not just basic knowledge. And we want to discuss some ways that we feel like we can better prepare our students to help them be more accountable for their actions and for their decisions, and how we can instill good character and great character traits into our instruction in classrooms that will help us to produce students that are better prepared to work in today's environment. So you'll hear some more about that in the next few months as well. Another thing that we feel like is very important and is at the top of our radar this year is hiring the best teachers. When we have a vacancy, hiring the best teachers. And I will tell you, you'll look at your personnel report tonight and you'll see 14 student teachers that we're hosting this spring. And our staff is actively involved in recruiting the best student teachers from our universities and helping them to understand what a wonderful situation Davie County is, and getting them to come and work with us and work with our students. So we'll want to continue to focus on finding excellent candidates to fill vacancies in our classrooms. The last thing I want to talk to you about is today and closing school today. We did close school today for our students. We had an optional teacher workday, and I talked with each of you today, and I've talked with 10 of our principals today about how we make this day up and how we address this day in our calendar. If you look at the calendar that you adopted this past year, we have Saturdays as an option. And if you look at the calendar itself, makeup days are Saturdays when possible, and then we've identified a couple more dates in the calendar as proposed makeup days. To give you a little history about how many days we've missed, last year we had 3 2-hour delays, and we had 1 early dismissal where we dismissed school about 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning when we had an unexpected snowstorm. We have not missed any days since the legislature changed the calendar law. And the calendar law was amended to say that schools in North Carolina are required to be in attendance 185 days or 1,025 hours. In the past, the law said 180 days and 1,025 hours. So while a lot of people are concerned, and I sure wish the legislature would let up on the start and end dates and give us a little more flexibility, they gave us some flexibility within the new calendar law in saying that we're requiring a minimum of 1,025 hours. When you look at the hours that our schools are in operation, we exceed that 1,025 hours significantly. So we have some flexibility. And in looking at where this day falls in our calendar, next Friday, I guess it is the 17th, is the end of our semester. Our students at the high school level will begin taking exams on Monday. So when we talked yesterday, when we made the decision to close school today, if we were going to go to school this Saturday, which was an option, then we would have need to close school today for everyone, including teachers. Otherwise, you mess your payroll up, right, Deborah? We decided to make this an optional day and not consider Saturday because we didn't want a short weekend right before exams. Where this falls, there's not a tremendous advantage of making up this day. And as I talked to principals today and looked at our history and looked at how early we are in the winter with this cold spell and the potential for more days missed to be made up, we have clearly looked at what the law states our calendar should say or should include, and we would like as staff to ask the board to consider a waiver for today and essentially excusing this day from the calendar for students and not making up this day because of where it falls on the calendar and the fact that we have exceeded the number of hours required in the calendar law. So I would open that up, Mr. Chairman, for the board to ask me any questions or staff any questions, and just ask that you all would consider that waiver request.
Okay, that's something we need to consider tonight
It would
and take
be
action on.
very helpful for you to consider that tonight.
Okay, do we have any questions related to that for Dr. Hartness or other staff? Okay.
I don't have really a question on it. I do have a statement on today. And, you know, being involved in social media, people complain about this or complain about that. I guess my message to the community is you know, it's these canceling school is not an easy decision, and it's not always an obvious decision. And, you know, I think we have to be reminded of that. You know, we dealt with something today that in this area we don't deal with, and it's you know, you take the state of Minnesota, they cancel schools throughout the whole state. Now, you know, they're more used to this, but I would just say that it's something that we just need to be more. It's not an easy decision. I've talked to Dr. Hartness about this many times, and you know, I think he mentioned yesterday it had nothing to do with precipitation. It had really nothing to do with the cold. It had something to do with the wind chill. And I appreciate I appreciate what you've done. I think you made the right decision, and I just wanted to make that a public statement.
Thank you, Mr. Ridenhour. Have other comments?
I think the suggestion to waive this day that we took today is probably the best situation for our students and our faculty and staff, seeing how we are at the beginning of the winter season. And to me, as an educator, making up a day on Saturday right before exams with a short half day, to me, the kids need to be a full weekend. And I agree with the waiving of the day. And also, I too agree with closing today. When I woke up and saw the 0 on my thermometer outside and it stops at 0, understanding children at the bus stop at 6:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock. And it did not start to go up until about, 11? And I think the high was, 20? And the wind was unbearable. So I agree with the decision, and I'm glad that you let us know, and you let parents know early on so that they could prepare, and thank you for that.
I would ask you to remind the group and say it publicly what you said earlier about, we were discussing what to do with this day, and I'm in agreement with Barbara and Steve. But what happens after exams and into the next semester? If there is a day missing, what is the built into the schedule plan? You never know until it hits, but at this point, what is the built-in plan for a makeup day?
Mr. Drexler, that's a great question, and according to the calendar that the board adopted, the first option is Saturdays when possible, and we would only attend school on a Saturday during a week where we missed a day, and it would be very difficult to do that if we missed a Friday. So that's going to be one of our main options. We also have in the calendar built in March the 28th, which is the last of that 9 weeks, and it is a day that's a teacher work day that our teachers value because they're doing grades for that 9 weeks. Then we have June 9th, 10th, and 11th as other makeup days that are in the calendar. But at any time, if the board or staff came together with, who knew that we would be dealing with this issue today or tonight? If we came up with a better option, there's nothing to say that we wouldn't bring that option to you for consideration. But that's what the plan is for additional missed days.
I guess I'm just going to be a little repetitive here, but I too want to agree with Steve and let the public know what a difficult decision this is. And I know when Dr. Hartness called yesterday, he doesn't just make this decision. He speaks very closely with other administrators. And one of the most important people I think he talks to is our Todd Naylor, who's head of our Department of Transportation. And Todd Naylor can give him advice. All right, are the buses going to start? Are the brakes going to work? And if that's even a question in your mind, then I am so thrilled that you erred on the side of safety. And I certainly support Barbara's recommendation and that, we waive this day. So thank you.
Do you have any other comments? So we have a request to waive this day for makeup. Do I have a motion? So, I have a motion by Mr. Ridenhour. Do I have a second? I have a second by Ms. Owens. All in favor? 7-0.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my comments. I'm happy to serve as your superintendent, and I'm really looking forward to this 2014 year.
Thank you, and we're certainly glad to have you. At this point, we come to the student and staff recognitions, and now we're going to recognize the Assistant Principal of the Year.
Chair, board, audience, Dr. Hartness, obviously it's my pleasure to be here tonight. Doyle, I'm sorry we didn't roll out the droves of your fans, and I don't know why they're not here. I just don't understand. But this is, again, one of those opportunities that I have to recognize someone. And Doyle, why don't you come on up and stand beside of me here as Davie County's Assistant Principal of the Year. I just want to let you know a few things about Doyle. Has now been with us 2 years. He's serving as an Assistant Principal at Davie County High School. Doyle is intricately involved in the STEM program at the high school. He works with new schools and some various things that they do there. And any of you who've had high school experience, you understand when you work there, you're involved in a little bit of everything. Doyle finds time to do the daily routine things. He has a wonderful relationship with his colleagues and also students and parents. He served over 20 years in the classroom. He's been recognized as Teacher of the Year in Yadkin County at a school. He was also District County Teacher of the Year, District Teacher of the Year, excuse me. He served as a department chair. He is recognized as a Coach of the Year in 2 different sports. He has authored 2 articles that are online, and he also has worked and works with the National Board Candidate Support Group. He is actively involved in his church, in his community, and he is a wonderful husband, and his beautiful wife Gretchen here, who is also an educator, and we have Cora and Kate, who are their beautiful children. So it's a wonderful family night. We are very fortunate to have someone like Mr. Nicholson to be a part of our team. I know that that Jenda speaks highly of him, and he's an integral part of everything that we're doing here, and Noel can attest to that. And Doyle, it's my pleasure, I think it's well-deserved, to recognize you as Davie County Schools Assistant Principal of the Year. Congratulations.
On behalf of the board, we just want to thank you, and it's an honor to have you in our system, and thank you for the support of the family as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Nicholson. At this time, we're moving on to our consent agenda. I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, sorry, I interrupt you here all the time, and I apologize.
No problem.
I think the superintendent and his assistant set me up sometimes where I have to do this, but just wanted to make sure that as we presented the calendar information to you last time, we did put that out for our staff to vote on. Very pleased with the amount of participation, and it was overwhelmingly, option B was overwhelmingly selected. So just wanted you to know that we've had quite a bit of interest and participation in that survey.
Good.
All right.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for those comments.
Consent agenda, do we need to pull out personnel recommendations because we go back to closed?
That would be a separate item.
Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion for Mr. Junker. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Horn. All in favor of the consent agenda? 7-0. Now we're moving on to public comment time of the meeting, Ms. Wilson.
I think everybody is too cold to get their fingers to write on the piece of paper, so unfortunately, you'll have to wait till next month to hear what everyone has to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I understand about being cold.
I'm from Michigan, I know about that.
At this time, we're moving on to committee staff and staff reports, and I will call on Ms. Meek.
Thank you, Chairman Fuller, members of the board, Dr. Hartness. I have one item this evening. It is the donations report for the past month, and it's there for your review if you have any questions. No? Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're moving on to information about digital teaching and learning grant. Ms. Noelle Grady-Smith.
Thank you, Chairman Fuller and board members. I'm excited to tell you that we have received a $24,350 grant that will be used in a very unique way. This is to promote digital learning in our system, and the perspective of this grant widens with the possibility of getting another $45,000 as the award for our particular plan that we've come up with. Basically, we are going to use this to salary an employee to come in and provide 2 highly qualified teachers with half days to create digital learning components for our classrooms. And that will go all the way K through 12. We have very determinedly picked out strands that address weak areas in our science and math. So we've looked at our EOC data and our EOG data. We've compared that and really come up with a very clear guideline for these teachers. They will be working with our instructional technology coordinators, also with our technology team. They're actually going to be creating digital textbooks, small digital movies, all kinds of resources that will be instant linked into the classroom. So it's kind of groundbreaking. And we feel that our particular grant proposal is going to garner lots of positive attention, and we look forward to announcing that we received the $45,000 in the coming months. So I worked very hard with Mr. Rooney on this, and it's the first time I've written a grant with him, and we had a really good kind of coming together of minds and worked real hard on it. So between that and the talent we have to access with the teachers, I think we're off to a great start.
Thank you. That sounds exciting. At this point, it's come to my attention, we need to amend the agenda to continue our closed session after our board comments. So we'll have our board comments first, but I need a motion to amend the agenda? Correct. To add an item, to insert a extension of closed session after item 10, board comments. I have a motion by Mr. Junker. Do I have a second? I have a second by Ms. Horn. All in favor? 7-0. Okay, thank you. Now for board comments, and I think, Ms. Livengood, I think you're up.
Well, I don't really have anything prepared tonight, but I'm glad for all of you that braved this weather and came out, and appreciate that very much. I think we've got a lot to look forward to this new year. So I wish you a happy new year as well. And I'll pass on down to Mr. Junker.
Happy New Year. Good night.
That gave me no time. No, I just wanted to second what several said earlier about the decision today about school. You know, I know sometimes it's so easy to look at things on the surface and just think, I can't believe they're not making those kids go to school. There's just so many things to consider. I mean, for me, prime example, when you look at the donations report, you know, it was back in October, I think the announcement was made about there were a lot of kids at South Davie who were in need. And if you look at that report, and it's sort of twofold, I mean, you look at how our community has come together in the last 2 or 3 months and the amount of money that's been donated to that school to help with that need, you know, something to really be proud of. But if there's that need at that school, you think about those kids, some of them this morning, maybe having to stand at a bus stop, who probably were the ones that the decision this morning was made for. So, you know, another thing, my son goes to Ellis, and they had a fire drill yesterday. If that would have happened today, oh my gosh, because they have to go outside if the, oh, well, not a fire alarm. I'm sorry, fire alarm. So, yeah, well, fire alarm. But if, I mean, my understanding, if the alarm goes off, they got to go out, right? I see you in the back. So, I mean, today would have been a terrible day for that to happen. So I think it was a smart call, and hope everyone has a great new year, and stay warm.
Stole my note. Donations report was a thing that I was going to comment on, that there has been a great history of community support to the school system here via personal and corporate sponsors and donations, et cetera. So if you go online and look at the school board agenda for tonight and go into that section on that donations report, it's amazing. Please step out or call or contact some of these donors and thank them very much for doing that. Noel Grady Smith, and Butch Rooney, and anybody else that was involved, but you two speared it. Congratulations on grant writing and the work and the effort that it took to do that and the productive end. I mean, you just said your report, but nobody clapped or cheered or anything. $45,000 that, you hope, sure, but it's already here, it's a done deal. That is coming here that would not come here if you hadn't done the work that you were doing to get it here. Thank you. Do it some more. Thank you for coming tonight. Please come again. Thank you.
Yes, it is a tad bit chilly outside and has been chilly all day long. But I want to say how much I appreciate Dr. Hartness, your superintendent report. And I do hope the community as a whole will rally around some changes in the laws that took place. First, the change for career status for teachers. That needs to be re-evaluated and changed back to really career status the way it should be. That honors our educators. Also, the Read to Achieve, please make sure you follow that very closely. Being a curriculum person, it concerns me that if you have a third grader taking a reading passage that's based on a sixth grade reading ability, somehow the playing field just does not seem fair. So, Dr. Hartness, thank you for working on that Reading to Achieve area, as well as Aaron with the power issues too, with that program. That just, I'm so glad that Davie County is a lead and taking a lead in that direction. And I would hope that the community as a whole also speaks to legislators in regards to the calendar law, giving boards of educations the right to have the start and end date based on the needs of their system, because we all know that when we can finish a semester at Christmas makes a major difference in student achievement at the high school level. It's just so unfair to those children to have to come back after a holiday and then look at taking exams 2 weeks after being back. So those are the areas I ask the community to help in. The other area, Mr. Nicholson, congratulations for Assistant of the Year. That's an awesome honor, and we do congratulate you. On another note, I need to say thank you. I wasn't here last month, but we got a card in our box. It talked about respect, dedication, commitment, teamwork, and high expectations. What this school system has given to me with what we were going through with Mom, you can't touch it. The hundreds of cards that came, the people who came, the phone calls, the emails. From my family, we say thank you. Thank you. Have a good year.
I just want to congratulate Mr. Nicholson being named Assistant Principal of the Year, and I'm going to give my best Clint impersonation. I was going to say Happy New Year, and I'm done.
I would also add congratulations again, Mr. Nicholson, and thanks to everyone that came out. I know it's a cold night and not the best night to come out to a meeting. And again, Happy New Year. And I would, at this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to go back into closed session.
To preserve the attorney-client privilege and discuss personnel matters protected by state law, no doubt.
Have a motion by Mr. Drexler. Second. Have a second by Ms. Livingood. All in favor? 7-0. Thank you. We're in closed session. All right, we're now back in open session. We were considering a personnel matter, and I have a statement to read on that behalf. The Davie County Board of Education feels fortunate to have Dr. Hartness leading the educational efforts in Davie County. We are very pleased with his performance and hope he will continue to lead this district for many years to come. I ask from this board a motion to move to extend his contract through June 30, 2017.
It's an honor and a privilege to make that motion to extend Dr. Hartness' contract through June 30th, 2017.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Ms. Owens. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Livingood. All in favor? 6-0. thank you. And he left. Yeah, he left. Again, it's an honor and to have you here, and we really appreciate all the hard work you're doing. We do.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say thank you for the board's commitment to me and all your support. I will tell you that nothing happens in this school system unless everybody works together. And I am very fortunate and blessed to have a tremendous leadership team, outstanding principals and outstanding teachers in our classrooms. We just got a lot of great things going on and a lot of challenges ahead. There will be things that will come our way that we have to deal with. But I don't believe there's anything we can't overcome as an organization if we all work together. So thank you for your support of me and for extending the contract.
Thank you again. We look forward to the bright future that Davie County has here together. At this time, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion by Ms. Horn, a second by Mr. Drexler. All in favor? 6-0. Thank you.